Apple just released the M1 Pro and the M1 Max, which is 14 and 16 inches respectively, and I know some of you will be wondering which should you get, because of whenever a new gadget comes up and outshines the previous model, it kind of makes we the consumers think a lot. So in today's video, I'll be helping you answer the 3 questions, and I want you, wherever you're watching this, to pause this video whenever I finish explaining my own side of these questions and think about yours. First question is the M1 Pro and the M1 Max really good? Well, yes, it is very good, but if you necessarily don't need it, you don't necessarily need to buy it, because of it is starting off with the price tag of $2,000 and straight up to $6,100, which is a lot of money to spend on this laptop. Apple is doing a great job. Apple is actually pushing the limits to wherever possible, but the consumers necessarily don't need to have all the specifications. Because of that, M1 Pro, the M1 Max is maxed out with great specifications, better performance, and the previous model, the M1 Macbook Pro 13 inches, was and is still very efficient. Now, the second question I want you to consider is, should you actually upgrade it? Well, if you are using MacBooks 2017 or older, I think you need an upgrade. Now, should you actually upgrade to the M1 Pro and the M1 Max? Not necessarily. So we have other laptops out there produced by Apple. You can get the 2019 16 inches model if you have that $2,000 to spend, because of it will give you a very good performance, though it is with the Core i9 processor or Core i7 I guess, but still with the Intel chip. But because you are getting a better screen compared to the 14 inches with that same $2,000 price tag, that is the M1 Pro, and you are getting specifications that are really good, and that is what Mr. Who's the Boss is still using to edit his YouTube videos. And since it is still good, I bet you guys won't have any problem with it. Now, the third question I want you to consider is, who are this laptop, or who is this laptop for? It is for people that has the potential to use that specifications in their workflow. If you're a normal typewriter, or you're just a normal accountant, or a normal businessman, you necessarily don't need that. But if you're a video creator that shoots in 8K, or you shoot in 4K 10-bit, or you shoot different commercials, and you think and you feel that buying the M1 Pro or the M1 Max will be highly appreciated by your clients and actually help you, the editor, edit faster, better, and more reliable, then you can get it. But do I actually advise anybody to get this? This M1 Max, the $6,100 price tag with the highly spec'd out 64 gigs of RAM and 8 terabytes of solid state drives, which read up to 7.4 gigabytes per second. Who is that one for? I personally, if I have a big business or a big firm, will actually get that, because of I am doing live streams, I'm doing broadcasts to the television or to a very big company like BBC, because it has specifications that will actually make the laptop stand out among its contemporaries and actually give you the best. Now, I want you to also consider this extra question. Do you have that money to spend? As I've said earlier on, this laptop is not cheap. It comes up with $2,000 and straight up to $6,100 price tag. I'm talking US dollars. So whichever country you're watching this from, just do the conversion rate and see how much you're going to be spending on just one laptop. Well, the laptop is going to be good, because if anybody's getting this laptop right now, 2021, you should be thinking of upgrading maybe 2029, 6 to 9 years time from now, because of that specifications will last you long. I necessarily don't think cameras will get any better when it comes to like resolution, because of if we have 8K currently this age, we don't think we'll be having something like 16K or 12K. But even though it comes out, I think the M1 Max will still be able to edit that video, and the M1 Pro. Now, the M1 MacBook series, the 13 inches, which was released last year. So if you're not ready to spend that so much money, I think $1,500 to get the M1 MacBook Pro 13 inches with the 16 gigs of RAM and 512 or 256 gigs will also do the job, no matter which video editing software you throw at it. So I think the previous model, 2020's M1 MacBook 13 inches, will be so good for anybody that is trying to do their daily work, or actually trying to edit in 4K 10-bit 422, depending on the codecs. I think that M1 MacBook Pro will be able to edit that video really good for you. You necessarily don't need to upgrade if you're using the M1, and if you're using something later or far later, you can also get the M1 MacBook Pro. But after you must have considered these questions to yourself, I've left a link in the description below where you can get it at the M1 Max, the M1 Pro, or the M1, or whichever gadget or laptop of your choice. Please use the link in the description below. It helps this channel big time. It also makes me get better camera and better lighting and everything. My name is Isaac Kwali. Till the next video, thanks for dropping by. This is #BoxerBoy. Peace.